kind of on short notice. Josh was not able to be here, and we said, "Hey, Evan, how about you come on and help us out?" And he said, "Absolutely." So thank you.
And I thought everything would be good, and now I don't have video feed.
Yeah, which isn't a big deal for the podcast listeners, but for the YouTubers, all they see is this little blue floating head that says Evan on it.
Podcast is the pure place to be anyway, though.
That's true. That's true. It's where it started.
Podcast, yeah.
All right, well, let's get into this podcast. What say ye?
Aye.
Sure.
Aye. All right, so let's start off with the new releases. For this week, the new releases are brought to us, as always, by our good friend Andrew. And
Andy!
His wonderful weekly, things that he wants to promote. And this week, it is the half pace. Yeah. Dave, you know what the half pace is. Why don't you go ahead and let us know what the half pace is?
It is a common description of someone who cheats in a duel. He does not walk all the way and turn around. He turns around early and shoots you in the back like a coward.
Good. That's quick thinking.
And they call him a half pace. It's kind of like a playoff half breed. It's supposed to be negative like that, but it's called half pace.
No, that's not right. I mean, it sounds good, but it's not right. The half pace is a raised floor or platform or foot pace at the top of steps, as for a throne or an altar. So I can't say I've used or been on one of those in ever.
You've never been on an altar?
Oh, see, the first altar I think of is like a sacrificial altar.
You've never been sacrificed to anybody?
No.
Jeez, you have not lived.
Lately, I guess.
Now, that's an example, though. It isn't. I mean, aren't there lesser known? Can't this just be used in everyday construction?
It also says a landing of a staircase, like a broad step between two half flights.
Right. Okay. So when you go up the stairs and it turns around that little
like my house, right?
Area.
When you come in, there's a little landing. One you can go up or down. That's a half pace. They're used often. The split level, yeah. So the half pace brought to us by Andy. Thank you, Andy, for bringing it to attention. Things that get used but don't get mentioned very often. So, Dave, tell us what our new releases. They're slim. They're slimming out for the rest of this year. We're coming up on the holidays, and not a lot of games come out this time of year, but there are a few things worth mentioning, I think.
There are a few, literally, on our list. December 13th for Xbox One and Windows 10, it's Forza Horizon 3, the Blizzard Mountain expansion. So for those of you who want to drive in a blizzard on a mountain,
sounds smart.
Are either of you guys Forza players?
I really want to be, but no.
You wanted to be? They wouldn't let you in the club?
Well, I wanted to be at a cheaper price.
Oh, okay. I thought the GameStop guy was like, "Nah, this isn't for you."
Yeah. To give me the keys. You can't have
to put that one back.
Yeah.
Is that VR? That VR demo we did, Chad? Was that Forza or was that something else?
I believe that was Gran Turismo. Wasn't
I guess that was PlayStation, so it couldn't have been Forza.
Yeah.
Well, that came out on the 13th, and also Stardew Valley for the PS4. Only it's being launched multi-platform, but on the PS4 it's coming out a day early on the 13th, which leads us into our release for the 14th, Stardew Valley on the Xbox One. I know Chad's excited at that.
Yeah.
About that.
Played it some on Steam and had heard rumors it would probably come to console, so I decided to hold off, and I will probably pick that up.
And then the game that is going to crush every single one of those in sales comes out on the 15th of this month, Super Mario Run, for exclusively right now the App Store for iPhone.
Right.
iOS.
And we have some news to discuss regarding Super Mario Run later.
Now, are either of you Apple users?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, well, then I don't have to ask the question whether you're going to switch just to be able to play it.
Are you going to be able to, are you switching just to be able to play it?
Nah, I guess I'm going to hold out, wait for the Android version.
Yeah, it'll come.
I wouldn't switch either if I wasn't.
Right. It'll come, especially for just that. All right, well, those are the new releases for this week. Yeah, there's some good games to be played, I think. That'll lead us into what we have been playing lately. And this section of the podcast is brought to us by someone Evan may know, Paco.
I think he does.
I've heard of him.
Yeah,
I've heard of him.
Pretty sure.
And the East Coast Candle Co. For all your hand poured soy candles. Head on over to eastcoastcandleco.com.
Maybe if we talked about that every episode, Chad, it'd be easier for you to say.
You would think so, but obviously not.
I'm looking around the room. I know I have one somewhere here, but actually, no, I'm covered in candles.
They're everywhere. You can't disprove it.
If you did, we would know.
Everywhere. All right.
Evan is actually bathing in a tub of soy wax.
That's how they make the candles. He gets them first.
He stews
contributes, and then ships it off.
They're actually creating an exclusive scent called Evan.
Yes.
He's bathing in it for like 3 days straight.
I mean, I'd buy that just out of curiosity.
Yes, Gingerberry.
Oh, very good. Gosh. Well done. On multiple levels, well done. All right, so Dave, what have you been playing lately?
Yeah. Well, I was gone for about 10 days, and over the course of the last podcast, I wasn't here, so I didn't have a lot to do with my PS4. I did have my Vita with me, and I played Dragon Quest Builders is really the only thing I played while I was on that trip. I enjoyed it very much. I talked about it in our Game of the Year thing that will be coming out, next week or 2 weeks?
Our Game of the Year podcast will come out on the 27th.
Yeah, I talked about it in that one, remember?
I don't know. That's the future. How could I remember the future?
Well, it's coming out, but we recorded it.
What?
Yeah, I'm opening up I'm pulling the curtain back. You can look and see us recording it naked.
I wasn't prepared for this discussion.
Right. There's no video evidence that we were naked.
Especially on my feed.
That you know of.
I mean, you guys were naked, right? I was.
Okay.
So anyways, I played Dragon Quest.
I
played Dragon Quest Builders, which is really great. I'm going to get it for my PlayStation 4 after the holiday season. Yeah, it's a good one. I like it. I compared it to like a Link to the Past or a Wind Waker kind of skin on top of Minecraft. But that's not the only way to describe it. I've also not played any of the Dragon Quest games, so I can't compare it to any of those. But it has a good story to it. It has quests to it. You got to build up these different cities, protect the townspeople, all kinds of different stuff. A lot of the same stuff you do in Minecraft as far as gathering resources and building upon building upon building and upgrading and all that stuff. Very fun. I very much enjoyed it. On my PlayStation 4, just today I played some Rise of the Tomb Raider, which I've sent some text to the game thread about how much I forgot how gorgeous that game is. Just so very good looking. And I played the VR DLC on it which is also available on non-DLC or a non-VR. But it's the I think it's called Blood Ties. It's the Croft Manor. You can kind of explore it and read a bunch of stuff that kind of add to the story. And actually, I noticed when I went to go play it, there's another one too. Something about Laura's Nightmare or something. I don't know. It's not for VR. It's just for regular. I didn't look at it yet. But I did play that. It's such a good game. Came out for PS4, a month ago, 2 months ago? October, maybe?
Yeah, I think October. Sounds about right.
A year timed exclusive that Xbox had for some reason. Paid a lot of money, I'm sure. I also played some The Last of Us multiplayer with Chad.
Yes, we did.
That was first time playing it. I think he enjoyed it.
It was fun. It's different. Way different than anything else.
It's very different because for those of you who are fans of The Last of Us, it's very, would you agree with this, Chad? It's very similar to just playing the game.
Yeah.
With actual human enemies, not AI human enemies, but
right. Yeah.
World enemies.
Yep, totally.
Very limited resources. You have to scavenge and make your own, craft your own supplies and everything. Your booby traps and your burst grenades and your Molotov cocktails and there's bows and arrows. I mean, Chad didn't get to experience a lot of it because he literally had just started, and you unlock these things as you progress. But all kinds of weapons, from pistols with makeshift silencers to automatic weapons, semi-automatic weapons, crossbows, bow and arrows, all kinds of different stuff, and all kinds of different ways to customize your guys. Very fun, very good. And it also has like he also didn't get to really experience this, but there's sort of a story in the multiplayer that has to do with what you play.
Survivors and such.
Yeah, you either play as like survivors or the Fireflies. And there's different game modes and everything. Very fun. I suggest if you're a The Last of Us fan to check it out.
So if it's similar to the game, the question is, do you spend 90% of the time just chucking bottles trying to confuse the other players?
No,
because I'm pretty sure that's how 2% played the game.
It's still very well. It's like I said, it's like playing the game, except with human-controlled players, not AI-controlled players. So the human-controlled players know you're there. There's no the AI are unsuspecting, and you can play it stealthy. These people are looking for you actively because they know you're there. They know that there's how many of you there are, and they're looking for you. And they have each player has sort of the sense ability where you can hold. You've got a bar that wraps around your health bar, and you can hold in the trigger, and you can see. You can kind of listen, quote unquote, and see people if they're moving around. You show up on the map if you shoot a gun. Obviously, you can get silencers. You also will show up on the map if you've been marked. There's different perks to allow you to not be marked. There's different perks for all kinds of different stuff. But it's very interesting, and it can get extremely brutal. I mean, the finishing moves and all kinds of stuff. It's just as intense as a game. That's the best way I can explain it.
Mm-hmm.
I recommend it if you like that game to at least play it a little bit, see if you like it. And then I played the 2 other VR things that I was very pleased with. First was the Battlefront X-Wing VR experience, which was just awesome. It was very cool. I tried to stream it, and somehow the stream messed up after like 30 seconds. It stopped recording. I didn't know it because I was in my goggles. So, but you get in the X-Wing. You start off outside the X-Wing. You kind of use like the teleporting thing to teleport all around it and look at it. You see your little. It's not R2-D2, but it's like a red, whatever they call him. It's an R2 unit, but he's moving around down there. You get into the cockpit. The thing closes down. You're looking around and you're seeing all the buttons. It looks just like a cockpit from Star Wars. It's really cool. And you start and you've got this little mission that they play, and you're part of. You got red. What do they call it? Not Red Wing. Is it just
Squadron?
Not the name of the actual your wingmen.
Yeah, Red 5, Red 3.
Like Red 1, Red 3, and then you're Red 2 or something, but it's your name. And you start off with a rebel fleet, and you guys jump into hyperspace. You're looking for a lost ship that has been damaged, and it's got what sounds like a what is C-3PO? What's his protocol droid? Like C-3PO is speaking to you, and there's some type of female person on this ship that they're trying to get somewhere, that they're trying to protect, that they're secretive about, and they're not telling you who it is. You're flying it. It's a big asteroid field, basically an asteroid belt. You can see it arcing in the distance. And all of a sudden, a bunch of X-Wing fighters show up, or TIE fighters, and you have to engage them. And then you're in the middle of this battle, and it's really cool. It's showing you're learning how to do it, and all of a sudden the Star Destroyer just drops in out of hyperspace, and it's like freaking humongous. And you're flying around it and everything, and it's so cool. Like at one point you get disabled, and you have to have your R2 unit fix it real quick and get your engines back online. You get back into the fight. There's a scene where you have to shoot some cannons on the Star Destroyer, and it's really neat. I can't wait and I don't know when you get to play it, Chad, but
I don't know either.
You would love it.
Yeah, that sounds like fun.
Highly suggest that. It's free with anybody that owns Battlefront. And then the last thing I played for VR was the Resident Evil 7 beginning hour demo in VR. And I streamed it. So it's on Twitch right now. I need to go on there and archive it and put it on our YouTube channel. And anybody who's played that demo, it's really creepy. But VR, I'm telling you, amplifies that so much.
So you're going to play the whole game in VR when it comes out?
The whole game?
Yeah. Start finish.
I don't know if I can. I was in the middle of the demo.
You scared?
Actually, I wasn't even in the middle of it. I hadn't gone out of the room yet that you start in. And I said, it was when I got to the door, after I got everything you could do in the room that you start off in. I went to the door, and you open it just a little bit, and you walk up, and the hand starts to put. I'm like, I didn't want to go out. I did not want to go out. I couldn't even remember what was happening. And I was literally saying out loud, I just don't see how I could play this in VR. I just don't see how I could go through it.
That's crazy.
And so I went through the whole demo until I got killed, and I got killed at the very end. I don't want to spoil it, but it was pretty crazy. I mean, I went down. I didn't see anyone the entire time.
Well, Josh just talked about it. He talked about it last week.
Okay, well, I was freaked out the whole time, right? Because I only played it once when it first came out, which was months ago. And they've changed. They've added, not only did they add the VR to it, but they added different accessible areas of the house.
Right.
And so I went through the whole entire house freaking out about everything that was going to happen because I expected to see stuff. I never saw anything until like 90%, 95%. Actually, no, it would be 98% through my playthrough, which made it all worse. Because the less I saw something, the more I expected it to happen. Like, it's got to happen now. Right. It hasn't happened. Like, and then there were sometimes where I'd open a drawer and there'd be nothing in it. And I thought, great, this is obviously only here to set up something. So I went through the whole house. I went through this room and that room. I kept finding things, and I'd have to go back to unlock this and get this and go over here. And I went down and finally got into this basement, which was just unbelievably freaky. Went into this room, found a lockpick, went all the way back upstairs, opened a drawer, got an axe. That axe made me feel so much better.
Yeah.
Because you could swing it around, you could hit things. I felt so much better now that I had it. I wasn't expecting to feel that much better just because I found an axe. And I've been finding pistol, like gun ammo, but I never found a handgun. And I've seen pictures. I'm pretty sure it's there. I've seen pictures of people holding one, so I'm pretty sure it's there. But I had this axe. So I start going back into this basement like, all right, what am I going to find? I got this axe. I'm swinging at stuff. Then I walked through and I saw this valve piece, like the actual valve that was sitting on a shelf, and I realized where it went because I remembered upstairs in the bathroom there's a piece of pipe that's sticking out that has a place for a valve to go. So I thought, should I go explore this last corner of the basement, or should I just get this valve and go back? And up until that point, every time I found something, I went back. So I'm like, I should probably go back before I go into this last room. So I turn around and I go to the door that I came in the basement, and I notice it's shut. I never heard it shut. So I go to open it, and as soon as I open it, it hits a box. And I look, and there's a box that's set down in front of the door that's not letting the door open more than just like half a foot. And I look through there, and I'm like, what the heck? Someone put a box there? And all of a sudden, a guy pops right in the door at me, laughing. And I'm like talking to him like, oh, you son of a, like I would stab you in the head, and all of a sudden I heard something behind me, and I turned around, and I completely freaked out because there's this huge, massive creature standing behind me that looked like Groot from Guardians of the Galaxy on heroin for like 30 years.
Wow.
With like all these teeth coming out of his face, and then he just starts like lazily swinging his arms at me that have these big giant nails, or like fingernails or claws on them. And I start hacking at him, and then I get back to the corner of I go through the last room where I'm like, okay, I'm gonna try to get away from him, and there's a bunch of stuff piled in the way, and I'm at a dead end. So I turn around, and he's coming at me. I start swinging at him. I get past him, and then he hits me in the back, and I die.
Wow.
That's how it ended. I didn't get out of the basement. I know you can, but I didn't. I did not escape. So I don't know exactly what I'm supposed to do. I did not do it again. I may do it again now that I've done it. I'm kind of expecting things, but
that sounds terrifying.
When that game comes out, it will be insane. I urge you to go to my Twitch feed, which is just twitch.tv/thebageldogs, and look at that. It's about 50 minutes, but if you really want to see the fun part which the whole time, if you think me being scared out of my mind is fun, and the whole video is pretty fun, but go to 5 minutes from the end and just watch that. And that'll be interesting for you.
I will,
because that's the interesting part.
So you were scared to death by a tree with 1,000 teeth on its head.
That's what I.
That you couldn't kill with an axe. That's
what I could have.
Now I know that frightened you, but one person that wouldn't have been frightened is Mr. Chad here. All right, Chad, famous for playing very scary video games.
Yeah.
What did you play this week?
Yeah, no, good segue. I did not play anything scary, not even close to it, because I'm just saving it up. That's it. I played a lot of Final Fantasy 15. I'm probably about 20 hours in to that game now. I am in mission 6 or chapter 6 of 14. I'm doing a lot of the side quests. If a side quest comes up, I try to complete it. I'm probably a good 5-6 levels past where I should be as far as story goes. So it's not like a cakewalk, but it's probably a little easier than they expect it to be. But I'm still having a blast with this game. It's there's enough RPG elements there. I mean, there is a lot of RPG elements there. It's real deep as far as the skills and the different things that you unlock. And then it's just quirky and goofy and Japanese, and I'm enjoying it a lot. It has taken me away from pretty much everything else at this point.
Do you enjoy the characters?
Yeah, I do. I'm hearing a lot of people that just hate the people, and I can understand that a little bit. But I guess the reason I'm okay with them is that it's a little goofy and a little weird. A little strange, and I'm okay with that. Like I'm liking that. And again, I haven't played a Final Fantasy since 7, and they didn't speak audibly then. That was all in text. What they would say. So the personalities are a little off. You got Ignis is a very British kind of not stuck up, but he's like it sounds like he's your dad sometimes, telling you things like be careful of this and watch out for that. You get Gladiolus, the dude with the jacket with no shirt on, showing a six-pack, but he's like your protector. And then you got the goofy guy, Pronto, who's just taking pictures of everything. I talked about that last week. The pictures, he's taking more. He's upgraded his skill of the camera, so he can now take 15 pictures a day instead of 10.
Dang.
Yeah, nice. So every time you rest at night or whenever, you get to go through the pictures you took throughout the day. Some of them are cool, it'd be like, doing PlayStation Share and screenshotting something. A lot of times they're really good. Sometimes not. I've got a lot of people getting on chocobos, so you don't really see anything but a foot going over the back of a chocobo and feathers. Not a great picture, but he seems to take a lot of those. And then Noctis, the character you play, Prince Noctis, he's kind of rude, but I think it's more like apathetic. They'll be like, they'll ask him a question, or he'll be talking to an NPC, and he'll just be like, yeah, okay. Like, whatever, man. It's like, man, this guy's trying to help you out, and you're just like, I guess. It's like you sound like a spoiled prince, and I don't know if that's kind of what they're trying to get across, because the rest of his buddies they're enjoying themselves a little bit more than it sounds like he is. But it's fun. I'm really liking it. I'm hitting some big story moments, and there's a lot of Metal Gear Solid. There's a lot of Metal Gear in Final Fantasy. This Final Fantasy, like there are mechs that remind me of Metal Gears, and in the old Final Fantasy VI specifically, they had the Magitech armor that the soldiers would get in. But again, this is a 16-bit game, so it's like little sprites, and they're not really any bigger than humans are. And that's what this is. This is Magitech, armor and machinery, but it's huge. It's like Metal Gear. It's like from Metal Gear Solid 5 or Solid 5: The Phantom Pain. The big mech that you fight at the end of the game is very similar. Like, it reminds me of that a lot. And you're fighting it, and you're doing, warp attacks and hitting it with swords. You're not shooting it because you don't have a gun, but you're doing a lot of other things with it. So I could sit here and just talk for a half hour or more about Final Fantasy 15. I really like that game a lot.
I guess so.
Yeah. Then briefly, I played some Battlefield 1 on the Xbox One. I played some Zen Pinball on the PlayStation 4. There's a Bethesda tables that were released, a Doom table, a Fallout 4 table, and a Skyrim table, so of course I had to play that. I am continuing to chip away at Peggle 2 and trying to do all the trials and get all those trophies. And then the new Battlefront DLC came out this past week too with Scarif and the new Rogue One heroes, Jyn Erso and Orson Krennic. And so my son and I played some Battlefront, which is still a really fun game, especially if you're into Star Wars. I wish we had the VR thing because that sounds like a lot of fun. But I'm excited to see the movie, which comes out later this week at the time of this recording. And playing that content makes me even more excited for it. So
I have two questions.
Yeah.
First, you breezed right past it, but Battlefield 1, Xbox One, did you buy that on both platforms?
I did. I really like that game a lot, too.
You're a fan. And then something else that you were a big fan of was Skyrim.
Yes.
Have you just thrown that over to the side? You were like cheering, pom-poms, dancing around. It came out, and then...
Yeah, Final Fantasy has pulled me away.
All right.
Like, big time. It's because that's all I was playing until Final Fantasy came out, and that's anytime I'm like, all right, I have some time to sit, game night or whatever, it's like Final Fantasy or Skyrim, both enjoyable. I love them both. My love for Skyrim has not diminished, but Final Fantasy has captivated me at the moment. So, how about yourself, Evan? What have you been up to lately?
Well, I've really been putzing around the last week and a half. I did a little traveling, and I had a couple of work projects that held me from serious gaming, but I did touch a few things. I'm working on Pokemon Moon.
Nice.
I've got about 30 Pokemon right now, and my starter Pokemon, I picked the Emo Cat, who in its current form is called Torracat. If I'm saying that right.
The second version?
That's the second. That's level 2. Yeah. And my little cat is level 23. And so that's my strongest Pokemon. I just got off. There's a 4-island system. I just got off the first island. The thing that frustrates me about this game is it is so chatty. I don't know if they captured the spirit of Hawaii correctly. I assume people in Hawaii, this is a people who developed one word for goodbye and hello. Okay, I thought they were concise people, but darn do these people just chat and chat and chat and say nothing. It's one thing if it was story, but it's just every time you get there, they want to tell you all about the island and here's this and don't you know about it? And it's exhausting. Just clicking that A, not reading anything. Just get ready and get past it.
Yeah.
But I'm working on that. I can do that while I'm watching TV or sitting around. Overwatch Season 3 just started.
Yeah.
So working through that, got my placement games done, and have not had a chance to really work through it. This season, if you're an Overwatch player, everybody got ranked down from where they were before. And depending on where your actual skill level was, you may have gotten ranked way down, but then they made winning games a lot more beneficial to your rank. So now if you lose a game, you lose maybe 15 points of rank, but you gain 50 points of rank when you win to help people feel like they're making progress. But
sure,
I have not had time to make progress, so I just feel like a loser.
Do you guys still have a solid 6 that's always playing?
Yeah, the issue usually is, did you get on early enough to get in on the 6, or are you man number 7 or 8?
Right.
But it's a great game. It's very, very fun. If you haven't taken the dive in, don't feel like you missed it. That game is going to be going for years and years, and we've got more on that. We'll save it for a little later. I did check out Overcooked. We've had a lot of talk about Overcooked on this podcast, so I played both of the DLCs. The paid DLC, which was pretty good. It wasn't worth the money. but if you love the game, you got to buy it.
Right.
But this new free holiday DLC they just put out is the best thing they've done so far. It's the best levels, the most fun. Very much, if you played this game, bought this game, go back and play these levels. They're free, they're holiday themed, and they are excellent.
Do you think that we're ever going to get any online multiplayer DLC or update, patch, whatever?
They may. I mean, they have to have a paid DLC and this free DLC, which is so big. It seems like they know people like it. But I don't know if it's a philosophy decision that they just don't want to make it online. They love the idea of you sitting next to people. I would love it to be online. Even though I have people here to play, I have brothers that live in the same town as I do. But at 11 o'clock, it's nice to be able to just play from our own houses.
Right. That would be cool.
2%, he'll get in his car. He'll come over when we want to play Overcooked. He loves it.
Nice.
I did play a little WWE 2K17. I have not gotten deep into that game. I finally got my character, the Antidote. I finally have him all built. So now I can have my career mode with my
the Antidote.
My character. And the only other game I played is Lovers in a Dangerous Space-Time. And I know you're thinking that game came out a year ago, but I didn't know they had apparently a stealth launch of some DLC, or a patch, I guess would be a better word for it, where now it's not a 2-player game. You can play it with 3 or 4 players.
Wow.
And that game went from an interesting thing for 2 people to I'm loving this thing with 3 people and 4 people. It just, you don't have to do as much in a way, but there's also just more of you on the ship, more of you having fun at the same time. And again, if you've got a group that's sitting around, those 2 games, Overcooked and Lovers in a Dangerous Space-Time, are probably the 2 things I'm going to point you to. Explain
to me real quick, Cliff Notes, what's Lovers in a Dangerous Space-Time?
So if you can imagine an arcade shooter. So you've got an arcade shooter like
Galaga.
Yeah, Galaga, anything like that. But instead of a teeny little ship, you're a big, bulky ship, okay?
Okay.
And in that big, bulky ship, you have a little character that moves around on a 2D, like an old-school 2D frame. So you're climbing ladders and jumping down different little platforms to get to different parts of your ship. So you run over here and you jump on the engine, you fire this engine up and somebody's driving, and then all of a sudden you see something coming to the front of you. And so your friend, your person playing, he might be on that gun and he'll take care of that. But you see something also coming from behind. So you let go of the engine, you run down the platform, go down the ladder, go over, and start shooting that thing. Meanwhile, the ship is kind of coasting into a rock. So somebody jumps back on the engine, moves it away the other direction, and you're all just moving this ship together in an arcade shooter format. It is...
So it sounds to me like the game I used to play that I liked from Steam. I can't remember what it's called, maybe Faster Than Light or something, but it's you're micromanaging a ship, and you got to take care of all of the different things, but it's only a solo player game.
Yeah, it's...
Where this is similar to that with multiplayer.
Yes, except you're not planning things, and you're not really putting out fires on a thoughtful level. You're just reacting at all times. It's all reacting. It's all, okay, turn the shield this way. And some of it's a little bit puzzly. We got to turn the shield up this way while you shoot this. But it's mostly just, almost like a bullet hell shooter, but it's a bunch of you in a bulbous ship.
That sounds fun. It sounds like something I'd like to check out.
Yeah, it's very cool. Now, again, I don't know on this one. I just got it back going when I had a bunch of people over. I have not tried it over PSN, so I don't know if that's just local co-op or if you can play it. Yeah, I don't know. I haven't seen it. It may be. I just haven't tried it, so I don't want to say it is.
Right. Okay.
But that's been it. Not a lot of deep gaming. I have some big games. Like I still have not gone through that Battlefield single player. I mean, there's just some cool things I want to play. I haven't played VR much. It just kind of touching and going with these things.
There's definitely a lot out there to get involved in, but it sounds like you had some good games that are deep as well. I mean, Overwatch. How many hours have you spent in that game?
I've got at least 150, but
yeah,
for There's a lot of life left in that bad boy.
Right. Cool. All right. Well, those are the games that we've been playing lately, which will bring us into our next segment for the podcast. That's the news that you can use.
Evan.
If you so choose.
Thank you. Well done. The news you can use this week is brought to us by our good friend Ryland over there at Destiny World. Ryland's sister has a company called Zarya & Co., Xaria, ampersand Co., and she is a designer and a maker of clothing for children, for little girls specifically. She sells that clothing on Facebook or over on Instagram. You can go ahead and look up her business and help Ryland. Not Ryland. It doesn't really help Ryland at all, I don't think. But it helps Ryland's sister and her husband, Jared, out quite a bit, I'm sure. Very well-made clothing, and Ryland would like to bring that to your attention. So head over there and check that out.
Now they're selling things on Instagram?
Or there's at least links to go to where you can buy them.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think they sell it.
I might be missing out. It's on Instagram with just pictures. Maybe I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah, it's more advertising for what they're selling.
All right.
A better way to put it.
Okay.
All right, so we have 10 items on the news list this week. Starting off with a bang.
10.
What?
I said perfect 10.
Perfect 10. Yes.
But you couldn't see my fingers, so I was doing that.
Yeah, that's all right. That's so good. Starting off with a bang, Sony announced this past week that it has crossed the 50 million mark in PlayStation 4 sold. Yes, that is huge. It is on a super fast pace, going like crazy. I don't think it's going to slow down. Obviously, I believe the PlayStation or the PS4 Pro probably gave it a good boost. We also know that it was the #1 selling console for November, helping it cross that 50 million mark, ousting the Xbox One in its 4-month hiatus, basically. So yeah, I mean, I don't know that it'll attain PS2 numbers or Wii numbers necessarily, but it's going to come real close because it's going to drop probably $50 here real soon if it hasn't already for the holidays, and you're going to be able to get it real cheap. And man, there's a lot of people out there playing the PlayStation 4.
Here on IGN Game Scoops, I thought it was interesting that Damon pointed out that it is still 30+ million behind the PSP.
Yeah, PSP sold like 80 million. Yeah, it's crazy.
It is. I mean, obviously that's a lot. That's due to a lot of Japanese sales. Specifically, I think Jared Petty said because of shoot, I just blanked out. What was that game? Dang it! Something to do with animals, I think. Not Animal Crossing, but
the old Animals game for the
something
PSP.
to do with animals. Yeah,
I forgot what it was called.
Game in Japan.
Animals. We love them. You love them. Buy a PSP. Yes, no, it's the PSP has sold 80 million in its lifetime. Obviously, you probably could still. I don't know if you could still buy one new anymore, but the Vita kind of replaced that. So 50 million consoles sold. Congratulations to Sony. Everyone on this podcast has contributed to that number at some point in time.
Truth.
Some of us multiple times. Dave? Yeah.
All right. I just made a mistake.
That's why I wanted to make you speak.
Made a mistake.
What?
Well, I muted my channel, which only mutes my video feed, and I was
not
playing
you're recording
podcast, which is recording on.
Yeah, it's great.
So sorry. You'll have to edit that out.
Awesome. All right, next number 3, Ghost Recon. Stop it. Ghost Recon Wildlands.
Just trying to help you.
Is a real big game.
It is.
That's coming out next year. Looks like a lot of fun, multiplayer, open world. You can sign up for the beta right now.
Have you done it?
I have.
Oh, I have done it too.
Yes.
I did like a week ago or something.
Yes.
Immediately.
So yeah, it's Ubisoft's website and Ghost Recon. You can sign up for it. You don't have to pre-order it yet to get in. You just sign up for it, and once they open it, I don't know if they have any criteria on who gets in. I'm sure not everyone will get in right away. But you have an opportunity to play that. I'm excited for that game.
I would suggest if you are a fan of Tom Clancy games and specifically like the multiplayer version of that, get on YouTube and look up the gameplay for Ghost Recon Wildland. It is looking good. It looks incredible.
Yeah.
I have no business wanting to play this game, and I am dying to play it. This is not a theme that I like, but the gameplay is everything I want. I want multiplayer where you can all do something different.
Yes.
The Division was great, but you were all essentially shoulder to shoulder.
Right.
And this thing, oh, man.
Yeah, mixes it
wait.
up. Yeah,
I can't wait.
Yep, I'm excited for that as well. Too many good games. Too many. Next, the Christmas update for Overwatch was released on the 13th of this month, which is yesterday at the time of this podcast. Evan, give us a lowdown on what is included here in this Christmas update, and what does it excite you? Are you happy about it?
Well, with every one of these updates they've done, and this is the third, when they do these little holiday special, limited special, you got to get in, you got to play so you can start grinding for those loot boxes and have the opportunity to get skins.
Right.
And how good it is really depends on which characters you main and whether your character really needed a new skin.
Sure.
And one of the characters I play is Winston. He's this giant ape, and his skins are all terrible. They're all just him hanging out. And all of a sudden, out comes the holiday pack, and he has an abominable snowman skin.
Oh, nice.
That is awesome. So it's his first, desirable skin, and I got to have this thing. I play this monkey. I don't play him that often, but I play him too often to not have this skin. Outside of that, we got a bunch of people dressing as Santa Claus and elves.
Sure.
You got to see if your character has a skin. And if somebody you like has a skin, then you got to put some time in the next couple of weeks and try to get some loot boxes. Either that or donate some money to our friends at Blizzard and see if you can get them that way.
Cool. Well, that's exciting. I know the skins is a big deal. And an Abominable Snowman skin sounds pretty cool.
It's excellent.
Yeah, I like that. All right, so that's available for you here. How long is that going for?
January 2nd it ends. So it starts today and goes to January 2nd.
Excellent. So you got a few weeks, 2.5, 3 weeks to play that. Next, Final Fantasy 15 has a little bit of controversy this week. The Square Enix came out and said that they are doing some things to the game, making some patches, which happens often with video games these days. We'll get post-release patches that fix things, tweak things, make things a little bit better or nerf weapons, stuff like that. Happens all the time. So why is it a big deal for Final Fantasy 15? They are doing some of the little tweaks, making things better, but they're also adding some narrative, adding some backgrounds, even adding some cutscenes to the game that essentially they say improve it and make it more understandable, but change it in a way that the game has been out for a couple weeks now, and if you're a hardcore, like you were dying for this game for the last 10 years and couldn't wait to play it, you probably just binged on it and are done with it. And they are changing the way the story played out in a chapter, specifically chapter number 13, and a character that you come into contact with towards the end and give you some more insight and backstory to him. Some people are not happy about it because they feel like the game was not complete, and then now they're finishing the game post-release and weeks after. They didn't give a date as to when this will happen, but it is going to happen. I have not hit that chapter 13 yet where the big changes occur, but depending on how long it takes them to do this, I may get to that point before that happens. They're also adding an ability to play as other characters. Right now, you can only play as Noctis. They're saying they may add the opportunity to play as other characters and maybe even be able to create your own character in the future as well. And like I said, with the cutscenes, they have to do some localization with languages, so it's going to take some time to implement that into the game. So a lot of people are crying foul, being upset about it, which I can understand why you would be. It does kind of feel a little... I don't know the right word for it, but changing things post where people have finished it doesn't seem very fair.
I think the right word for this patch is oops.
Yeah. Seems like it took them 10 years, and they delayed the release date. They didn't want to delay it anymore, so they figured they'd be able to get it in later, which It's good as it is. I'm enjoying it as I mentioned earlier. But if you change a complete storyline and a complete chapter to where the way I'm hearing it, chapter 13 is no one likes it. And I don't really know why because I haven't delved into it because I didn't want to be, spoiled or my opinions to be swayed before I even get there. But people are not happy with it for some reason specifically. So anyway, so that is a thing. Nintendo. Let's talk about some Nintendo stuff. What say you?
Yeah.
I would just like to say that Nintendo is sometimes tone deaf.
Yeah.
In their marketing and sometimes misses, but they have a lot of hits. Okay. And the Wii would like to play with the two little Japanese guys going around having people play. That was really cool.
It's clever.
And I gotta say, this YouTube video that is now up for everyone to see with Jimmy Fallon coming out of his pants essentially to play this game. He is jumping up and down. He is waving his arms around. He is so excited to get a chance to get his little fingers on Super Mario Run and the Nintendo Switch. And I, cannot congratulate Nintendo enough for picking the exact perfect, not even a spokesperson, just you want to see our game that you think that'll get you some ratings? Here you go. And what an ad they got.
Yeah, totally. So yeah, this I forget what day it was, but did you guys get a chance to watch it, or have you seen it since?
I did not.
Have you seen it since or no?
No, I haven't.
You gotta go see it. When we're done here, you gotta go watch that thing because
it's cool.
It's infectious. His excitement for the thing is infectious.
And or I don't think the podcast knows it's been in our text thread that Josh and Isaac, if you remember who Isaac is. Not necessarily huge fans of Jimmy Fallon. For they think he's a little overboard on his exasperations and his mannerisms. But I like Jimmy Fallon, and he was, I think, legitimately excited. I don't think there's any overdoing it or pretending on his part. But they came out. Reggie came out and gave him the opportunity to play through the first level of Super Mario Run. And explained to him, and gave like an E3 pitch. He sounded E3 Reggie a little bit, but the gameplay looks exciting. It looks great. It looks like a Nintendo game. It looks like Mario, real bright, colorful, pretty. And you got to see him go through the level and do the little jumps off the walls, and it looks like fun. That game looks like it will be enjoyable. Obviously, it's $9.99. Comes out here on the 15th, as we mentioned earlier. I know my son will lose his mind and probably never give us our phones back once this game comes out to the iOS. And then they surprised him, seemingly, with the Nintendo Switch and took the little question block off it. And there it was, for the first time, live quotes. But to be able to see it played by someone that wasn't a Treehouse member or someone in a commercial or a pre-done video. And the first thing I thought, Reggie was holding a Pro controller, and they were playing Breath of the Wild, Zelda, and we know it looks good. It's looked good and everything. We've seen some Wii U footage that we saw at the Game Awards. We saw some of that. But to see it on the Switch on a big screen, played with the Pro controller. Then he pulled the Switch out of the docking station and handed that to Jimmy to play. And so they had the camera kind of over his shoulder showing the Switch in his hand. And it was super thin. Like when I looked at it, like when you have the Wii U gamepad, I kind of envisioned that's what it would look like. It's much thinner and a lot more screen than the Wii U gamepad.
Right.
So it looked good, and I've seeing that and seeing his excitement made me excited for it as well. Obviously, here in January, we're going to get a press conference on the 12th, I believe, 8 a.m. Pacific time, where they're going to give price and other game announcements for the Switch. But yeah, that's coming soon, and man, it looked good. And you're right, Evan, to get Jimmy to not be a spokesperson, but really be a spokesperson on the national TV, pretty good move by Nintendo.
Yeah, I haven't seen how many views that has on YouTube, but I I can only imagine before it's all said and done, it's going to have a lot. There you go.
Wow. That's a lot.
I couldn't wait.
That's a good move by them. Maybe a not so good move by them. Finding out this week that Mario Run requires you to always be connected to the internet in order to work. Claiming the piracy thing that they're trying to prevent piracy by always being connected, and that's why you have to always be connected on your phone to play this game. Not a big deal for unlimited data users or plan users, but if you have a limited data plan, I don't know how much data it's going to pull when you're playing it, or if you go out of service somewhere.
That will be the main issue. If it's not a lot, which if it's only for the sake of not pirating, it shouldn't be a lot.
Yeah, there shouldn't be a reason to pull. I mean, the only thing I think of online capabilities that you need for are the leaderboards.
Mm-hmm.
And it seems like those leaderboards are going to be pretty cool.
Mm-hmm. So I can understand.
Is this a big deal for you guys?
For me personally, not really.
All right. How about you, Dave?
I would rather it not be, but it doesn't.
How often are you not online?
Well, yeah, because I have data on my phone, so I'm always online. But I would rather it not. I always am like that. I hate it when I try to play my phone or I try to play a phone game, which is not something I do a lot anyways. But if I don't have service, I can't do it. And recently, I didn't put this on here. It's an iOS game. I guess I was gonna not an iOS game, but just a game that's on the iOS App Store that I didn't mention, but I actually was playing a lot. Was that 8-ball pool for on mobile? I used to play Yahoo Pool years ago on desktop, like years ago. We're talking like 2002, 2003, and it's very similar to that. And I just got kind of hooked up, addicted to it again. But there are some times where, and I'm sitting in the back of the car and I'm moving or whatever, and we go through an area where there's little signal, and all of a sudden the game freezes and it's thinking. And if I get disconnected, I lose the match, which really ticks me off because I lose coins or whatever depending on what's going on. And then it used to be that way, the same way with Plants vs. Zombies 2 when I used to play that. It wouldn't even let you start the game if you were in service. You couldn't even start the game, which is very frustrating. So that will be the reason that it's frustrating to me. I don't think it's going to be frustrating because I'm going to be using so much data. I doubt that will be the case.
Yeah, I can't imagine how it would.
Yeah, so that's the reason why I wish that you wouldn't have to. But again, if that's the real reason, I can't see it being a data hog at all. I mean, now there will be some people that's all they're doing for a while. So I mean, I could see maybe that you might be using more of that on your your little list of things that you use, and it might affect your battery more because it's actually using data. But I don't think that I could be wrong. Again, like you were saying, they've been out of touch before. So, but I'm sure there's people thinking about this, and they don't want it to be something that's going to drain phone batteries or eat data up. So I can't imagine that they have. I mean, what would their reason be if they're like? Do you think they have an underlying reason? And if that, let's just say they do theoretically, what would that even be? I mean, why would they say it has to be online all the time unless legitimately it was because of anti-piracy?
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't think it's going to be as big of a deal. And when I first hear it, I don't like it because I don't want to ever be a time where I can't play it.
Right.
I want to be able to play it all the time.
Right.
Yeah, I just Facebook doesn't work if I'm not on the internet, and I don't get mad at Facebook. So
sure,
you just assume in this day and age everything needs to be on the internet.
Yep, pretty much. All right.
Can use my calculator. Don't have to be on the internet.
Ooh.
You don't have a good calculator.
Can you use my notepad? Don't have to be on the internet.
You need to get a better notepad.
Lots of games don't have.
Use your camera.
Yeah, lots of games you don't need it.
Yeah, let's get rid of all the apps that you don't need that you need the internet for, and you'll be fine.
I mean, if I opened up my laptop computer and I couldn't use any of the programs unless I was connected to Wi-Fi, I would not have one. It would suck. There's lots of.
Well, yeah, because of the reason you use your computer for, but.
Right.
Anyways.
And I'm playing a game to play it, not to be connected to the.
But, but the two of you don't mind. I would mind. So let's not be that bad.
Imagine people that are very upset that don't have, and this is 2016, so internet is readily available, but there was a huge backlash at always online, having to always be online consoles and stuff. People don't want that. There is a great case and a great, common sense thing where it's like, well, it's 2016. I mean, most people have, but some people, they live in areas where you can't get
right.
Maybe you can get satellite internet, or maybe you can, you got Dish or something, and you just don't have good internet. My friend Ray, finally, I didn't tell you this yet. He bought a PS4 just because of No Man's Sky. Wanted it so bad.
Nice.
But he's playing
50 millionth.
He's playing No Man's Sky Day 1 Disc Edition.
Without the patch?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Can't play. He doesn't have internet. His mind will be blown when he finally.
Yeah, especially now.
The internet and does the update on it and everything.
He can't bring his PS4 to the library.
Yeah, I definitely understand. I mean,
yeah. It's to sit here and say we don't care because we have it, so not a big deal. But there are people out there that not that far from me, out in South Dakota, that have a hard time getting decent internet or internet at all.
Being someone who travels all over the country, I hate it when I go somewhere and there's no connectivity.
Yeah,
I do hate it. I don't like it when Facebook. I mean, you might be. If I want to do something on Facebook and I can't connect, I'm mad. I am legitimately mad.
It ruins your day.
I won't say I'm mad at Facebook. I'm mad at the fact that I have to have connectivity, and it's 2016 for some reason. This area of the United States, which is a leading world power, it does not have internet connectivity.
Yeah, they have smartphones in Africa, and we can't get it in North Dakota. Come on.
But we send things to space.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
So
all right. So Nintendo, good stuff coming. Hopefully you have a good data plan. Maybe. Who knows? A couple more things. There are 6 new maps that have been added to the Modern Warfare Remastered Edition. If you bought Call of Duty this year, and a free gun, free little shiny gun. It's a handgun. It's real shiny, not very tactical, but it looks cool. And then you get 6 new multiplayer maps for the Modern Warfare Remastered.
It's free.
I misread
our notes as free gun for all. I thought that was like a Trump campaign promise.
Yeah,
I misread
free guns for all.
I misread this in the text thread. I thought you were saying it was a new mode. They were bringing back like gun game or something.
They are adding a couple new modes as well, but there are 6 new multiplayer maps added to the Modern Warfare specific, and they're free for you if you have the
it got really frustrating, but that's the nature of that actual game. Like, we have these own conversations with our game night buddies, but the nature of this game is shooting and killing people. You get
that's what you do.
You get excited and angry and stuff. But gun game was something I really loved doing, which was where you had to get up to like 15 or 20 or maybe 25 kills, and each time you got you started off with like a knife maybe, or you started off with a pistol, and each time you got a kill, you upgraded to a better gun,
right?
And you're racing everybody else.
That's a nice mode. I like that mode.
Yeah, it was just 1-on-1 maybe. I can't remember how many people would be in the match, but adrenaline pumping stuff, man. That was crazy.
Yeah. Get your blood pressure going. And continuing with the shooty shoots, Battlefield 1 is also getting a new map. If you are a premium member, which means you have the season pass, it is available on the 13th, which was yesterday. If you're not, it'll be available on the 20th, 1 week later, free for everybody. Doesn't cost anything. It's called Giant's Shadow. And it also is adding a crossbow grenade launcher to your arsenal. Giant Shadow is basically a Zeppelin, one of the airships that has crashed. It has been shot down. It is burning on the ground, and the map happens inside and around that crashed airship.
Very cool.
Yes, it looks real good. There also comes with this some tweaks to the shotguns, to the medic, like when you have a little syringe to heal people. there is now a brief cooldown period. You can't just go around and going, you're healed, you're healed, you're healed, you're healed, you're healed. You have
really?
There's a slight, like a couple, I think either a 2 or 3 second cooldown period between uses, which, I don't like that at all, because medics don't always heal like they should anyway.
That's what we needed, a medic nerf.
Yeah, and now that you've got a cooldown, I think you're getting even less healers, which is kind of a bummer. But I'm excited to get into that map and play that. To shoot a crossbow grenade launcher always sounds cool. I love that game so much. About it twice, and I will play it a very long time. And then finally, Yooka-Laylee, the spiritual successor to that Banjo-Kazooie, has gotten a release date of April 11th. Of next year, 2017, and also an announcement that the Wii U version has been nixed, which makes sense because we'll probably get a Switch version instead.
That's what they're saying.
Which, I mean,
hasn't been confirmed. They're working on it.
Right, I get it, but if you're that 3D platformer Banjo-Kazooie, Yooka-Laylee looks fantastic. Great game, great family game, probably. A lot of platforming and puzzles and hidden things. Looks like a lot of fun. April 11th. All right. That's the news from this week. All 10 of them.
Yep.
It's going to bring us to, we're going to do one more announcement, really. That's the last segment for the week. We are going to do an announcement. Obviously, the holidays are coming up, so our podcasting schedule is a little different, as Dave alluded to earlier tonight. The Game of the Year podcast has been recorded already. He let that cat out of the bag. The podcast
said it wasn't supposed to, Chad.
Well, common sense, man.
You never said it.
When you have a cat in the bag, you just never let it out.
You keep it in the bag.
No, it should have stayed in the bag.
Make note of the last episode done by Evan on South Dakota Gamer. Here it is, episode 96. We appreciate your hard work, Evan. Thanks for dropping your Patreon support. And you are X'd. You're
X'd. No. So the Game of the Year podcast has been recorded. Our schedule's a little different. We're trying to make it to where we don't have to spend we have some weeks off. Dave will be traveling a lot. I know Josh has a lot of things going on. And then you got Christmas coming up. Big things. He's getting married soon. There's a lot of preparation involved with that. He's probably got more cupcakes to eat. I mean, I would. He's got to plan all those colors and stuff. Make sure he's got the right flowers picked out. Yeah. Make sure the dress is all ready to go. I think those aren't his responsibilities now that we're getting into. Oh. I mean, maybe. Doesn't have a lot of stuff to. Huh. Okay. All right. Anyway, so the Game of the Year podcast will come out on the 27th. We will, obviously, this podcast is out this week. We wanted to talk about the Game of the Year giveaway. We want to give away one of the games of the years that we chose. We have a top 5 list for you. We're not going to give you any of those right now, but in 2 weeks you'll be able to hear them, and we would like to give one of those games away. So for you to earn that game or win that game, all we require from you is an email or a Facebook post or a Twitter and tell us what your favorite game of the year has been, what you choose for your game of the year. Maybe give us a sentence or two of why, and you'll be entered into a drawing for a free game of your choosing, one of the top 5. So if you already have one of them, you want a different one, that's fine. We can get you whatever game is that you would like from our top 5. Man, that doesn't sound like a lot of hard work to me. Pretty simple.
Well, he didn't tell the second part of it. You also have to include a 4-hour video of yourself yodeling.
Well, yeah, I was going to do that later once I got him hooked.
The theme to the Labyrinth level on Sonic the Hedgehog.
Don't bring up games that shouldn't be talked about.
I don't understand. Is it not a game?
It's a garbage game. Just put it in the trash where it belongs, Dave. Please.
Really? Just put it in the garbage?
That's waste. You should at least put it in the recycling.
Okay, fair enough. Sonic is a mistake. We all know it.
Sonic did nothing to help video games at all.
He's a mistake. We know it's a mistake. It's okay. We've moved on. I haven't seen a good Sonic game ever.
He didn't do anything for the hedgehog community.
Did you have a Sega Genesis?
No, I didn't.
You know, if you're going to be a hedgehog,
my parents
you're going to make
me.
it.
That's very interesting.
My parents loved me and bought me a Super Nintendo.
But you have no actual experience.
No, my parents. I don't
game.
have experience with cocaine either, but I wouldn't use that. I wouldn't bring that into my house either, just like Sonic.
What's bad with cocaine? If you use it the way that you're not supposed to, it's bad.
Which is using
it as
it.
directed.
Which is using it.
Well, it's. I mean, if you grinded up a Sonic game and snorted it, it would be harmful to you. But playing is not.
Using cocaine is bad, just like playing Sonic is bad. Yeah. There's no good way to use it. Anyways,
cocaine in its natural form is not a drug. That's what I'm saying. You have to actually make cocaine. You have to process it and do all the chemical balances to make it into a drug.
I regret bringing up cocaine.
Yeah. There's other reasons other than drug use to not play Sonic.
Right. Yeah. Whew. All right. Well, that's it.
You guys are both racist bigots.
Racist bigots. Hey, I'm okay with hedgehogs. Okay, but Sonic never gave back to the community.
Oh, okay.
He was a little hedgehog, and then he made it, and he never came back for the other little hedgehogs. Have you ever seen another hedgehog in video games? No. He was the only one, and no one ever let another hedgehog in because of how bad Sonic was.
Where's the other plumbers?
Luigi? I don't know. You heard of him?
Luigi was in the first game.
He benefited from Mario.
That's a different thing. That's an occupation. They have a monopoly on it. They allowed other humans. They allowed other humans in.
No, it's not.
They just had a corner on the plumbing market. Okay, other humans were allowed in.
Mario was prejudiced against which mushrooms he liked and which ones he didn't. He was a bigot.
Dude, some mushrooms messed that dude up.
Sonic rescued all the animals he could.
That's true. He did not like other hedgehogs. He was into other animals.
Sonic was against the machines taking over the world. He was an environmentalist. He wanted to save the animals. I mean, Mario's running around stomping on vegetables and trying to kill lizards.
No.
And he jumps in clouds and pollutes clouds. He throws fireballs all over the place with no regard to what he burns. He could be starting forest fires.
No, where's the forest level?
I never had Genesis.
Do you ever see what's under those airships? Do you know that there's not a forest under those airships, Chad? Do you know? 100%.
It's a ship in the air.
There's no forest under the airship.
It's canon. It's over the ocean.
Where's your evidence?
It's over the ocean.
Where's your evidence?
And a castle.
A castle in the ocean.
Yeah, that's because the wand falls from the ship.
Sure.
And the king.
That makes a lot of sense.
So Dave, I didn't have a
Mario
Genesis.
is now turned into Water World, where it's just all water underneath everything. And Kevin Costner is Mario.
No, that's not true.
You're destroying video games, Chad.
The words you're saying
destroying video games.
I have no idea what you're talking about anymore.
Dave.
Absolutely ridiculous.
I didn't have a Genesis, so I didn't play Sonic there. But I did have one of these Tiger Electronics games of Sonic. Okay? There's like a calculator. There's only little places that Sonic can go. He can go 3 places on the screen to kill the little robots.
Okay.
That game was impossible. Did you guys play any of those Tiger Electronic games?
Did you listen to any words that you just said?
Wow.
That's like playing a Mario. That's like playing a Mario game on that wouldn't be fun.
It was fun then. That's all we had.
Yeah, that's what I'm asking.
Yeah.
I'm segueing away from this craziness and trying to talk about Tiger Electronics games.
Yeah, they were cool for the time. Never good.
No.
But at the time, we didn't know any better. All right, well, that's going to do it. I'm going to pull the plug.
Like Sonic.
I'm pulling the plug. I don't like Sonic. I'm going to pull the plug on this podcast, episode number 96. Thanks for stopping by. Evan, thanks for joining us. We really appreciate you filling in.
That went downhill fast.
Whew. Dave, it's going to be okay.
Jump out whenever you want.
Wow. Don't jump. No one jump out of anything. If you're
Check
driving
me out on
and
Twitter.
listening,
Generally accepted.
There you go.
That's not a real Twitter feed. He's deleting it.
Thanks for listening.
Don't listen.
We'll see you again. Have a wonderful holidays. If we don't talk to you, goodbye. Wow, that.
So now do I hit stop?
Yes, please. Please hit stop. Do you still have access to the Dropbox, I assume?
How would I know that?
Hopefully you still have Dropbox on your computer, maybe? And then you could open the file and see if...
Is it a program?
Yes.
It's also online. You can just do it online if you want.
All right, what's the online code?
Just go to Dropbox and then sign in with whatever you think your credentials would have made your credentials. I imagine so. If not, you could just Google it and it'll show up. I'm pretty sure it's Dropbox.com.
Sign in. Okay, do I want to export this as an MP3 or what?
Yeah. Yep.
If that's an option.
It should be.
Mine never is.
Really?
No.
WP?
WP?
What file? What kind of file do you?
It's a wave. It's always a wave.
Wave.
That's it's always a wave one.
What do you want me to name my file? Evan.
Evan 96.
Evan 96. That sounds like a very terrible operating system.
All right. I know we planned for 2. I don't think I'm going to be able to record the second one tonight, unfortunately, though.
What?
Yeah,
hey.
Let's see. Whoa. Dave.
What?
We're still on YouTube.
Just saying.